It's locked! No fair!
Can't open it. Let's come back once we find a key.
Well, now.
Haha! Let's kick some tail! Let's do our best! Don't let this be your final pull! You better nab those limited items before they fly off the shelf! If anybody can save the day, it's your turn to calm down. Look! We have a wide selection of sigils! Let me know if you need help. We have a wide selection of sigils! Let me know if you need help. Stay safe out there, okay? Bye-bye! Bye-bye! Good day.
Sometime after the commotion at Tempeal, life in Folca began to struggle towards normalcy. The breeze was soft and welcoming. I'd been blind to the city's charms before, focused as I was on rescuing Lyria from the Church of Avia. The sun watched over the victims of Furikin's rage as they raised new homes for themselves from the rubble. But once scars have set in, they are slow to fade. Here and there, the children of Tempeal labored with tools too large for their hands. I offered my aid, but the children said their work was their responsibility.
As long as you're sure you'll be okay.
Some distance away, a small boy burst into a red-faced fit. Lyria and I rushed over, hoping to be of help.
Don't try and stop me! I have to do this!
He hurled his words like stones as he whipped into a run. Concerned, I asked a nearby man about the boy. He explained that the boy's sister was ill, and the lad was after the remedy, an herb called windcrest. The sickness was assumed to have died out hundreds of years ago, but had now returned to torment the child.
And if that's not enough, I heard the woods where windcrest grows have turned into a monster den.
The boy had struck out alone. Folka had no soldiers to spare, for they were all dispatched to Tempeal for the reconstruction effort. No one was left to answer his pleas, but I would. In my heart, I vowed to bring back the child, and if possible, the herb too. I prayed only that I wasn't too late. I'll take point.
Well, according to that old villager, this is the place we want to be.
Perfect. Keep your eyes peeled for Windcrest. Earth spirits. Strange. We didn't see any the last time we were here.
Seems like they're attracted to the wind.
Try your metal.
Maybe they can
You
feel
read
its
my
power.
mind.
Like a book, my dear knight. And I enjoyed every word.
Yeah, turn them against each other. It's over!
Full bloom!
Bitten off too much.
Ready.
Do it.
Brave away.
Any last wishes? Try this!
Catch this!
You want more? Don't.
Hey! I think I spied some windcrest.
Stay focused. There's nothing to...
On me.
You have my aid.
The winds of fortune are with us.
Let's not waste them.
Yeah, that should be more than enough.
But we still haven't located the boy. What? Where is that coming from?
I don't know, but it can't be a good sign. We'd better hurry.
A golem. So that's what was behind the tremors.
Crap, it spotted us! Get ready for a fight!
Beautiful.
I shall become
Thanks. Winter spray!
Goodbye.
Now!
attack.
Roger.
Great synergy, everyone.
I guess so.
Indeed.
I heard Furikin's voice just now. I think that when Furikin covered this archipelago in storms, some of its power fused with the land and the monster.
Stay focused. Thanks. Pin them down.
Can I get some of that Furikin juice too? This golem is hot!
We can't afford to let it run free. Not while that boy remains missing.
End is nigh.
Sacred winds! What do you
Now, it's over.
Put them down! This is more fantastic!
In your blade, I see reflected a caring heart.
Didn't know you could be so sentimental. No escape! Pin them down! What do you think? Here they come! Let's teach them some manners.
Exploring with baddies on our tails is so fun! Let's give ourselves some breathing room!
Guards down! I'll finish!
Is it safe now?
I recognize that voice. With a final death knell, the golem stilled. The boy crawled out from the tall grass, and I pressed the wind crest into his trembling hand.
Wow! Now I can save my sister! You're the best, lady!
He smiled at me, and with a great burden lifted from his shoulders, skipped the whole way back to Folka. As I watched his happy shuffle, I wished more joy and color into his life of toil, which had been covered by the dust of destruction.
Skyfarer, I see. Which weapon shall I strengthen? Got an order for a new weapon? This turned out fantastic. Leave it to me. It's a great success. Come again. sigil enhancement. Thanks for coming.
Don't let this be your final battle, okay? Look! I just got some rare stuff! What's the thing? Pretty spiffy, huh? If anybody can save the day, it's your crew. No.
Yes.
Good day.
We made medicine from the wind crest you picked. The doctor said Hazel looks better every day. This morning, she was able to get out of bed and do some drawing. She loves drawing pictures. Thanks again, Catalina. From Al.
And Hazel.
P.S. Please visit Foca when you have a chance.
While out running errands in Folka one day, I came across a crowd of people in the town square. But from the sounds of things, it wasn't a friendly get-together.
I hate you all! Mom, Dad, everybody in this stupid town!
The boy shouted angrily at the adults and took off running, right into me. We both landed on our backsides. Sheesh, watch where you're going, kid. And that's when I noticed the tears streaming down his face. He was clearly upset about something. Hey, you okay? The boy hopped to his feet without a word, shooting me a glare before sprinting away. One of the adults started to follow after him, but
Please, Doctor, there's not much time.
the crowd stopped him in his tracks.
But I can't just... No, you're right. My patients need me. Forgive me, Lev.
The man closed his eyes, muttered something to the townspeople, and ran off in the opposite direction. Wait, that kid was crying! You're not gonna go after him? I shouted after the man's back, but he either didn't hear me or pretended not to. Then I felt a gentle hand on my shoulder.
I'm sure he wants to, sweetheart. You see, that boy is his son.
The boy's name was Lev. His father was a doctor, with many patients needing urgent care, so he had no choice but to ask the townspeople to find a son for him. I knew I should mind my own business, but I couldn't get the poor kid's face out of my head. He was probably hiding somewhere all by himself, crying his eyes out. I understood all too well how painful it felt to be alone. When Master Sokka reached out to me, it changed my life forever. Maybe it was my turn to do the same for someone else. I turned to ask the crew if we could join the search, but they were already gearing up to head after him. It seemed we'd all had the same idea. Just you wait, Lev, I thought to myself. I was gonna find him and put a smile back on his face, even if it meant sticking my nose where it didn't belong. The villagers didn't seem too worried about Lev. According to them, he'd have to venture much deeper into the forest before encountering any monsters. But that wasn't the issue. It seemed like nobody wanted to talk about why he'd run off in the first place. It was an obvious cry for help, and nobody was helping. I went through the same thing back in the day. Even after I met my master, there were times when the loss of my parents was just too much to bear. I didn't go so far as to run from home, but I'd sit alone in the corner of my room, hugging my knees to my chest and crying. Whenever Master Sokka found me like that, he'd always perform a silly magic trick to cheer me up. Just like me, all Lev wanted was for someone to find him, to take his hand, so he went off on his own in the hopes that someone would come for him. I'm sure he knew it was selfish, but it was the only card he felt he had left.
Do you think this means Lev doesn't want to live at home anymore?
I had a feeling that wasn't the case. He's probably just going through a rebellious phase.
Oh, that's when kids start arguing and acting out, right? Catalina told me it's pretty common. Did you have a phase like that?
Lyria's question was innocent enough, but I was too embarrassed to admit that I'd ever gone off alone because I wanted someone to pay attention to me. Heck no! That's not something befitting of a grown lady like myself. So what if I told a little lie? Our biggest concern right now was Lev, who was out there, probably crying with his back up against some rough, silent tree. He needed a friend, and I was more than determined to be one for him. This forest is as huge as ever. Sure hope Lev's okay.
Come on! We've gotta find him, and fast! Wait, we're still on the edge of the forest, right? What are goblins doing here?
I've got them handled!
I shall become
Neat!
Well, you're blocked. You want me?
There's no time to wait. We've gotta find him.
Watch out for the flyers! We're gonna need that magic of yours, Dio!
Do forgive me.
Look out!
I don't see him anywhere.
That's a lot of monsters! Guess we'll just have to take them all out!
I'm on it. Fire!
Incoming!
Oh, come on! Just leave us alone already!
Beautiful Tarzan.
Rainbow Turtle time!
Sparks will fly!
What do you think? Shall we conclude? You want more? Goodbye now.
It's over! Here we go!
Granblue. Don't play too hard now.
Like that guy!
Let's all alone out there! Come on!
Look! There he is! Over there!
Hey, Uggo! I'm the one you want!
Rage!
I've got them
Come!
Understood.
We make a rather good team.
Unity is the difference between a knightly order and common troops. A bloom for any season. Follow me! Will do.
Bury them!
Let us press on. Let's get going now.
Come, Crimson Thorn! Ready yourself!
This should do it!
Into the fray!
The Earth? With you...
Don't worry, they're gone now. You okay?
Yeah, thanks.
We were lucky we found Lev when we did, or he would have been Monster Chow. But before we could talk to him, the town watch came hurrying over.
Lev, your parents are worried sick about you. Come on, let's go home.
Lev looked away, ignoring the old man's outstretched hand. I could imagine how he was feeling, being treated like he was selfish and immature, when all he wanted was someone to sit down and talk to. The man sighed and scratched his head in frustration.
Your mom and dad are fine people. Try being a little more considerate, okay?
Lev immediately bristled at those words, breaking his silence.
What do you know? This is all your fault!
Knocking the man's hand out of the way, he turned and ran deeper into the forest. It was like watching a scene from my own past, but I wished he'd get a grip already. The deeper he went into the forest, the more likely he was to get attacked. We had to hurry.
Skyfarer, I see. You can expect only the best. Please use him with care. Leave it to me. That went well. Come again.
Hello. We all split up to search for Lev so we could cover more ground. I didn't see any trace of him at first, so I thought I must have gone the wrong way. But then I noticed footprints that looked like someone had slipped over a nearby ledge. And sure enough, when I peeked down, I saw a familiar figure sitting hunched over, knees to his chest. He looked a little scraped up, but didn't seem to be hurt badly. I was just glad I'd managed to find him still in one piece. When I told him I was a Skyfarer, he immediately burst into tears of relief. I could tell he was upset with the villagers about something, and that's why he couldn't be honest with them. But as an outsider, I thought I might have a chance. Watch closely. I'm gonna cast some special magic just for you. It was time for one of my master's patented magic tricks. I showed Lev my empty palm before covering it with a handkerchief. I flung the cloth away, and voila! There was a piece of candy in my hand.
Wow, candy!
Here, you can have it. After devouring the candy, he finally calmed down.
Thanks.
Normally, that would have been enough to lift any kid's spirits, but his face fell again as quickly as it had lit up. I guess he really doesn't want to go home. I decided I wouldn't leave him until there was a smile back on his face. While we were still deep in the woods, I decided to ask Lev up front. Why did you run away? He hesitated at first, but after seeing that I was serious, he started to open up.
My mom and dad used to work as doctors in Tempeal.
Back then, all had been well with their family. But when Furikin went berserk, they lost their home and ended up moving to Folka. That was when things started to fall apart. His parents began to spend all of their time tending to patients who were affected by the disaster, with hardly a moment's rest. Lev watched as his mom got paler and the black circles under her eyes grew darker and darker. He begged her to take a break, but it was no use. Eventually, she collapsed from overwork.
I told her she wouldn't be able to help people anymore if she got sick. She just wouldn't listen to me.
And here I thought he was just a kid going through a rebellious phase. That wasn't the case at all. That's really grown up of you, Lev. You're just worried about your mom and dad, huh?
Yeah.
After hearing Lev's explanation, I finally understood how he felt. I knew how hard it was watching people you cared about pushing themselves too hard. I couldn't stand to see my master doing it either. And that's exactly what was going through Lev's mind. He wasn't being selfish. Everything he did, it was because he loved his parents. If it were me in his shoes, I'm sure I'd be worried sick about my parents too. There's nothing wrong with worrying about your parents. I'm sure they're proud to have a son who cares so much.
But
what? Something was still on his mind.
I always wanted to be a great doctor, just like my mom and dad. But after my mom collapsed, I started thinking maybe everybody else was just using them.
Along the way, he'd stopped being able to trust the people of Folka, and he thought feeling that way meant he could never follow in his parents' footsteps. Lev stared at the ground as he spoke, finally confiding his troubles to me. After hearing his story, I began to open up about my own parents. He listened to my words in silence. My parents had also strained themselves too hard after getting sick, and eventually passed away. So Lev's circumstances were all too familiar. Just like him, I felt nothing but bitterness and despair. There was one difference. I've got to admit, I envy you a little. After all, your mom and dad are still alive and well. While we were standing there talking, Lev's parents and the villagers were probably beside themselves with worry, braving the dangers of the forest to search for him. When I told him that, Lev finally seemed to grasp the situation.
I really messed up, didn't I? I'm sorry.
Are you sure I'm the person you should be saying that to? I stood up and smiled at Lev. He and his family all seemed like really good people. The only thing they needed to patch their home back together was a long heart-to-heart.
Do you think we can find the flower? That sounds like a good idea.
Karzeda spoke haltingly, as if remembering the times he shared with his beloved friend. She'd always loved flowers. Tempeal was a land forged by its mines, and its climate wasn't suitable for flowers. But that wasn't going to stop her. As if that thread of memory had unspooled another, Karzeda said that his friend mentioned having a secret flower garden. But she hadn't told him the location, so he wasn't sure where to begin looking.
Sometimes she'd head out to a forest near Folka. If the garden's anywhere, it's probably somewhere in there.
It might be a long shot, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. I drained the last of my glass. We stepped out of the tavern. The rain had stopped. The air was humid, but the sun was a welcome sight after the rain. I squinted up at the brilliant blue sky. There, Arcing over the forest was a large rainbow.
During our stay in Seed Hollow, a certain request made its way into our hands. We were to inspect sightings of a mysterious young girl near the Seed Hollow castle.
You don't think she's a ghost, do you?
I put a hand on Lyria's shoulder to comfort her and asked the client for more details. According to reports, the young girl appeared to be looking for something. Workers helping with the castle's restoration effort would attempt to approach her, but she would vanish before they could get close. Each sighting would spook another handful of builders, until there weren't enough hands to complete repairs. By all accounts, it seemed to be a ghost. Of course, I couldn't admit that to Lyria. It was not uncommon for spirits to take refuge in ancient ruins or castles and play tricks on any unfortunate souls passing by. They were almost never malicious, even friendly sometimes. However, we couldn't take our chances. I just wished we had more information to work with. There was something familiar about this story. I just couldn't quite put my finger on it.
My premonition proved correct.
His lordship finds himself in need of your assistance once more.
Hans's voice was almost apologetic. What troubles him?
You remember the record we found on our previous trek, don't you?
I nodded. The Lord of Grossgard was searching for a family heirloom, and this record detailed its whereabouts. However, the directions were written in code, which Ludwin had yet to decipher.
He told me, and I quote, "Hans, don't you dare bother the charming and brave Lancelot over a mere trifle." But he hasn't made any headway on his own, and I've no doubt he's secretly yearning for your aid.
I looked at the butler with some confusion. Hans, I recall you saying you'd already completed the trial with Ludwin's father.
Indeed.
Then your assistance would be far more valuable than mine.
Come now, it is a butler's duty to serve his liege's best interests, and Lord Ludwin's shall be best served with my silence.
I suppose Ludwin would never grow if Hans simply led him to the answers. Better that we pieced out the puzzle together. Very well. I accept your request.
I thank you on behalf of his lordship.
Now I was beginning to grasp at the deeper meaning behind these tests.
Hi, Azeda. Fancy running into you here. You're just as pretty as the first time we met.
I had started to wonder if I'd ever see the little heartbreaker again. Guess I got my answer. We talked for a bit, and I learned his name was Vaughn. I knew which question he wanted to pop, but I didn't have time to humor him today. A hospital in Seed Hollow was in dire need of medicinal ingredients, so it was off to Fondom for me and the crew.
Okay, gotcha. I understand.
Well, that was easy. Considering how he kept pestering me, I didn't expect him to be so reasonable.
I know better than to get in the way of your job. I am a little worried, but I'm sure the monsters won't give you any trouble.
You got that right. I eat monsters for breakfast. Aw, how sweet. The little doodlebug had total faith in me.
Stay safe out there. Come back in one piece.
I will. As I left to meet up with the crew, I made a mental note to pick up a souvenir for my biggest little fan. Sweet. I think that's everything on the list.
Good, because this heat's killing me. Let's get back to the ship. What the?
Holy. Could be a sign this place is ready to blow sky high.
Well, I'm not sticking around to find out. Let's keep moving.
Being boiled alive is bad enough. Now I gotta deal with wires?
I think the ground's sinking into the magma.
What? Screw these flying lizards! Where's the actual food?
You want more, don't
you? Bring it! It'll be easy, they said. This fight.
Fire spirit!
I'm sorry I ever set foot in this oven. Yeah?
What the?
Holy. Could be a sign this place is ready to blow sky high.
Well, I'm not sticking around to find out. Let's keep moving.
Being boiled alive is bad enough. Now I gotta deal with wyverns?
I think the ground's sinking into the magma.
Close call. Into the fray. Screw these flying lizards. Where's the exit? Ow, hot. Can't go that way.
To humble me during the next round.
Shall we conclude?
Just grab ingredients, they said. It'll be easy, they said. This bites.
Fire spirit!
I'm sorry I ever set foot in this oven. Well, all right. Got him! Just like we planned. If we can get to that higher ground over there, that should lead us back outside.
Can you pick up the pace? The magma's rising even faster!
Follow close.
If you
It's
insist,
over.
support.
Who will be our next opponent?
With you by my side, who could challenge us?
Yeah?
There's nothing to fear.
That is seriously hot.
I think we're safe here. Maybe.
Man, I really worked up a sweat. At least we didn't lose anyone.
Grand Cypher's just up ahead. Come on! What are the odds of bumping into a golem in here?
Who knew I had so many fervent fans? Thanks for making a gal feel loved. And to show my appreciation, I'm gonna turn you to scrap. This shit, just you on! Let's
I appreciate it.
Come on!
Follow through.
You got it!
You have my aid. Thanks for the support, Zeta.
We're in the same crew.
It seems
No
we'll have
thanks
to do this the
necessary.
hard way.
Let's not get too close. Infinite wonder! No way!
What do you think?
Oh yeah! Jump it!
A balloon for Earth seems beautiful.
Payback time!
Help is on the way!
Bring it! Got him!
Way to fight, Red! Take that sucker down!
That's the plan. One pile of rebels coming right up.
You have my aid.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about!
Now you've got me fired up too.
That golem ain't just gonna let us walk on out of here!
Find her
Okay, this definitely qualifies for hazard pay. Oh, who am I kidding? Probably won't even see an extra rupee.
What do you think?
Oh no!
But wait!
It's stopping from charging!
Yeah! Road! Got him! Say your prayers! Hey, what's this? A piece of rock from the golem? I like the way it glitters. Might make a neat souvenir for a certain someone I know. Well, not bad for a day's work.
Welcome back, Zeta!
Vaughn was the first person to greet me when I returned to Seed Hollow. He ran over to me like an overexcited puppy. Here, I got you a little something for being good.
Whoa! This rock is crazy! It's all shiny and stuff!
I'm a pro at picking out gifts, if I do say so myself. After all, what kid isn't mesmerized by shiny objects? Vaughn wouldn't stop thanking me. I honestly didn't think he'd like it that much. But in this case, I was happy to be wrong.
It's amazing how you made it out of Fondom without a scratch. You're a one-woman wrecking crew.
Can't argue with the truth.
Anyway, it's cool that you're being nice to me, but I don't mind when you play hard to get either.
Huh? The nerve of this kid.
Are you blushing?
What? His confidence was respectable. Admirable, even. But seriously, get real, little man. Talking to you makes my head spin.
Does that mean you're falling for me?
No, it means I'm worried about your future. Years from now, Vaughn's gonna be breaking hearts left and right. Mark my words.